All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Elizabeth Johnson, and we're back with the We 365 Youth Voices program. This is a pop-up panel that we've had because of the recent protests and the movement after George Floyd and Breonna Taylor's deaths and the police brutality that is surrounding those. And so we are having a discussion about the Black Lives Matter movement and the recent protests here. So I'm going to allow everybody to introduce themselves. I think there are only two of us. So Alexis, you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Alexis Cammack. I am currently sophomore now at the University of Louisville. I was on the We Day board last year, and I'm currently studying criminal justice to become a lawyer.
Awesome, that's really cool. And Mark, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony Hughes. I graduated high school last year, and now I'm a sophomore as well at The Ohio State University studying public policy analysis.
That's really awesome. So I just wanted to start this off by asking how you all are feeling and what's on your hearts and minds with the recent protests and movement. And Alexis, you can go.
Oh, okay. Well, I would just say that the protests and everything everyone's doing, it's amazing to see everyone out there and just trying to speak up for what they believe in. I've been to the protests about 3 times, and just to see everyone getting involved and chanting and marching through downtown Louisville, it's just been truly inspiring to see everyone down there and speaking up for what they believe in.
For sure, and I completely agree. I think there have been protests outside my house plenty of times. Mark, what about you?
I agree with a lot of the same sentiments. At first, when I saw the video about Floyd and saw the protests happening, I knew that it was going to be big, but I didn't know that it would be all 50 states and 13 countries big. So I'm really glad to see a lot of the solidarity between the US and across the world. I haven't been protesting because I had a house due to the pandemic, but I've been trying to raise a lot of awareness to the issue as well.
For sure, that makes a lot of sense. I was also very surprised when I saw the protests in Berlin and Tokyo and across the world, in London and everywhere. It's incredible. It really is breathtaking. So you all spoke about going to protests and raising awareness. What has your involvement been in local protests and both protesting and participating and organizing? And also to that extent, what concrete change are you hoping to see, more sensitivity and de-escalation training for police, or just more training in general, or just anything to that extent? Alexis, if you want to go.
Okay. I would definitely say systemic change is what a lot of people are looking for here, more than just training, like you said, and everyone out there protesting. I think the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and everything that's been happening really woke a lot of people up, and everyone is here to say, we're not going to stop until we finally get justice for all the lives that have been lost and our justice system be changed from the inside out. And we have more laws protecting everyone, people of color, minorities, everyone in our justice system, in our world.
For sure, that makes a lot of sense. And that's definitely not something that's going to come overnight, as we've seen with the protests keeping going. But I think that it really has an opportunity to change with the movement that's going on right now and the momentum it has. Mark, how are you feeling about that?
So I was raising money earlier for the Louisville Bail Fund, and I raised almost $500. So that went really well. But outside of that, I hope to see a lot of change. I think that we need to have police officers to have a formal education, a degree requirement, because doctors, lawyers, they all need those. I don't know why the police department is treated any differently. I also would like to see de-escalation tactics, diversity and bias training, and along with demilitarization of the police, because I was hearing about the case with California and LAPD, and LAPD alone, I think, has $1.2 billion in funding for police department, and that's pretty insane.
Mm-hmm. That is really crazy, and it's honestly shocking to hear about how biased they are, and also how hard-headed and hot-headed they are, and just go out and are very discriminatory and very violent toward people of color, specifically Black people. So from my point of view as a white person, how can white and non-Black people of color be allies in this time? I know that a lot of people have been having issues with this because just kind of giving you all words of condolence is not doing much. But what are ways that we can help, and also how can people take action if they can't attend a protest? Alexis, you can go ahead.
I would just say, like, I was at the protest a few days ago in Louisville, and this lady, we were having this big conversation. Mayor Fisher was talking, and she just screams like, what can I do to help? Like, she was there, she was asking the questions, and I think that's just something that kind of gets overlooked. Like, yes, a lot of people believe that, like, people of color shouldn't have to do the explaining, but like, if we can educate people and bring them in and start reading more things and learning more about the history, I feel like we can all just come together and like help each other. If we're not out there on the front lines protesting, we're doing things like this, paneling and talking and just having that open dialogue to where people don't feel alienated to not help.
For sure, and I completely agree. And I think another piece to that is making like one-on-one relationships with people, because a lot of people that do have that like racism that's like built into them, and they've been raised as with racist parents, and they don't know any other way to be. They lump all people of color into one group, and it's hard to do that when you know people one-on-one and you have relationships. Mark, what do you think about that?
I think that, protesting isn't the only form of advocacy. And if people can't protest, I think they should try to educate themselves. And that's not to say to not ask any Black person about advice or about the situation, but the whole burden of the education part shouldn't rely on us. People should try to take the initiative and educate themselves. I also think that people should listen. I noticed a lot of times with, like the All Lives Matter movement as response, that a lot of white people or non-Black people of color usually don't really, or not all the time, but sometimes just don't like listen and try to gaslight our experiences. And I would just encourage, try to listen to us and what we're saying and educate yourselves about the issue.
Yes. And definitely I would say also join more organizations to help them learn and just get educated on those things, like the Bell Fund that you were talking about. Like, join things like that to, if you don't want to be on the front lines, you're offering your time, your money, your treasure, like anything that you can if you don't want to be on the front lines.
For sure, that makes a lot of sense. One group that I recently became involved with this movement was called Students for Black Lives. And basically, if you Venmo them, or if you send them like a receipt of a donation that you've done, they'll give SAT or ACT tutoring to you, or like read your college essays, or do counseling on your extracurricular activities. And they also have a place where if you can't be a mentor for that, and you can't tutor, or you don't need the tutoring, you can support a low-income student to do so by donating to any Black Lives Matter organization that's on their website, which is a cool way, I thought, to raise money. But there are lots of things out there like that, and just like you all said, being educated on them and doing your own research. And you don't need to rely on Black people to tell you what to educate yourself on and how you should educate yourself. You can go out there and do that for yourself. So my last question to you all, and possibly the most important on this panel, is what message do you have for youth, specifically other Black youth at this moment? And to that extent, do you have a specific call to action for youth? For example, like donating to a specific fund, going to protests, things like that.
I would definitely, one of the main things that have been making me, just open my eyes a little bit more and wanting to be out there every day is just the thought that I'm not doing this just for our community right now. We're doing it for our families in the future and their families, and also our families in the past who have been fighting for us, just to keep fighting and to know that you're not alone. Like, everyone is here. We're all just trying to help and bring justice and peace to this world that we live in. No one's doing it alone. No one's doing it alone.
For sure. And that's a great message and it makes a lot of sense. Mark, how about you?
I think the best advice and call to action is just to get involved. After you're educated about the issue or you're learning about it from other people, start getting involved, whether it means protesting or protesting with your friends, donating to bail funds or donating to like Black Lives Matter funds. But I also think the importance of politics as well, because you see a lot of these people who are in power. And, you know, as young people, unfortunately, a lot of us don't turn out to the polls. So I think that a really good method to change this is to call your politicians and start getting active in politics.
Yes.
I completely agree. And I think that's one of the main takeaways for a lot of people. Obama released a statement and that was his like biggest message was to go out and vote. Like the change is going to happen at the polls, which resonated a lot. But I think that's all I had. Do you all have anything else that you would like to say?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me and have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Price, and this is my message to our youth. I want you all to know that we are a generation of change, and the change that we have already made has made a large impact around the world. We have 50 states that are protesting currently, and I can only say that this is because of the access to social media. Social media is a big part of advocacy, and luckily for us, our generation has the biggest impact in social media. So, if you want to help with the Black Lives Matter movement, some steps you can take are to reach out to your fan base. If you have lots of friends on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, or any other platform, reach out to them and make them aware of the Black Lives Matter movement. You can sign petitions, share petitions, because those are all really important in helping us to catch these perpetrators and prosecute them. I really hope that you guys will consider to repost. Reposting is everything, and it will really just help us to get all the information that's needed out there. To my Black youth, remember that in the face of adversity, it's very important that you stand tall and you look it right in the eye. We are warriors, and we shall be treated as so. We are peaceful, and this is not a war which is race versus race. This is everyone versus racism. And this is not the beginning of racism. This is just the first time we've caught it on camera. Thank you, and I hope that you consider these points. Have a great day.
I'm Richard Chandler, and one message I have is to keep fighting, regardless of the times. Keep fighting for justice, whether that's reposting good quality content or being on the front lines. Always keep fighting and using your voice and letting it be heard. Thank you.